Hello, welcome back to Let's Run um, Shadowrun Hong Kong. And before we move up, and yep, there's the conversation I wanted to do. It's going to be over here. Unless it's random every time. Before we do that conversation, however, there's this thing. Okay, ooh, there's Gaich. Oh, that's why we have an upgrade potential. We have to choose him. Okay, Red Samurai. Active defense gains invincibility that adds +2 armor and +1 dodge. 1 action point, cooldown 5. Uh, Gains a claw ability, does an additional 2 damage and 2 bleeding damage. I'm gonna go with the samurai bit here. This down here is all ghoul stuff. And this up here is all his skill stuff. I'm gonna go with the mostly with the skill stuff, just because, yeah. Okay. His armor went down. Why did the armor go down? Or is -2 good? You sure you want to confirm these selections? This action cannot be undone. Yep, confirm. And that's finished. So let's have this conversation. Because, this is the game of conversations. Claim a payment for your runs at the mission computer. Two men in dirty synth leather jackets look up from their conversation at your approach. They both look haggard. Their shoulders slump with exhaustion, and neither appears to have shaved this morning. What do you want, woman? We're talking here. I'm new in town. I figured it paid to make all the connections I can. Grim chuckle rumbles out of him. You chose the wrong day, stranger. We're moving further downstream, and we're doing it today. There's something wrong with this place. Too many bad dreams. Yeah? What sort of bad dreams? The kind that bite. You'll see it too if you stay here long enough. The long hall, the thing in the ivory crown. I've already seen it. He licks his lips, nodding. Lots of people in town dreamed it, or something like it. From folks I've talked to, there were a bunch of different versions. Some people turned away from the quarter, went down alleys, that kind of thing. I've never even set foot in the walled city before, stranger, so tell me, why the hell am I dreaming about it all of a sudden? I don't even know what the damn thing looks like on the inside. I think there's something strange going on, something magical. And the walled city is where it's coming from. I think this is still set before Bug City, so we've had some huge magical things. There's the goblinization itself, the ghost dance, but aside from goblinization, we haven't had big cosmic horror type stuff yet, except for Bug City should be on its way. Here we go. It's a curse. Nothing else it could be. Everybody knows that place is haunted, a living hell full of evil spirits and poison key. If you're not careful, you'll wind up trapped inside with the rest of the human garbage. His command cuts in. You catch a healthy whiff of alcohol on his breath. That ain't going to happen to us. No way. Only the lowest of the low wind up in Walled City. So like he said, we're going further downstream. Soon as our things are packed, we're out of here. Damn right. This place is a dump anyway. Let's try our luck in Macau. To hell with this place. Best of luck, then. We could say the same to you. Oh, excuse me, that's the drunk one. We could say the same to you. You're staying here in Haoi after all. Of the three of us, you're the one who's most likely to need it. And that's that. Could look at that. I think we'll go in. And, could go down and talk to people. In fact, we just did complete a thing, so we might want to go talk to people. Workstation and mission computer. Cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen, and everything else is orange. Check your inbox for new messages. About those dreams. Goblet's face winks onto the screen. Her rats are perched precariously on her head, and she holds a laser pointer clutched between her thumb and finger. Oh, hey, Seattle! I hope that I didn't catch you at a bad time. She flicks the laser pointer, and her rat's head swivel to the right to follow the motion. Why did I just say that? This is a recording. It doesn't matter if it's a bad time. Gobbet, I got your message. You could have just walked down and talked to me? Maybe? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Thank you. Well, anyway, I was thinking about that talk that we had, you know, the dream talk about the nightmares and stuff. Cobbit! Another flick of the pointer. The rats' heads turn left, their noses twitching. I've got a friend here in town. She runs the Parlor of Five Phases. It's sort of our local magic shop and talismonger. Name's Crafty. Oh, I knew I heard that name before. Yeah, because I've read this. Flick. The rats' heads turn upward to stare at the ceiling. Anyway, she's smart, really smart. Her mom was sort of a local authority on all things magical, and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If you wanted to ask anyone in town about these dreams, she'd be the right one to choose. She taps a button on the laser pointer with her thumb, and the little red dot on the tip goes dark. The rats immediately tackle one another, rolling off her head and falling out of sight. She gets up, her head rising out of frame. Anyway, I just thought it might help. If you've already been talking to Crafty, please disregard this message. All out. All right, I'm out. Peace. She punches a button and the screen goes dark. Right. Noelle, I need you to come to the parlor. A friend and business partner of mine named Dr. Xin Yang has need of your services. Something about attending a fancy party in Repulse Bay. He was unwilling to give me the details. I think he wanted to size you up for himself. Raymond Black's history. Duncan asked me to do some digging on my own into Raymond's history. I guess he doesn't trust Kindly Chang to give him the full story, and I can't say I blame him, since she'd hide things from us if it was in her best interest to do so. I've been poking around various corners of the Matrix, trying to dig up what I can. Timer is going. Okay. Most sinners leave a data trail the size of an aircraft carrier in their wake. Working backward in time, Raymond starts out that way, but it slowly tapers away into nothingness. And why she starts out, she means recent history. He starts out very big imprint, but the further back you go, the less he exists. Sure, I can find some basic records in Seattle. Power, utilities, a couple of public discussion sites he signed up for. But the further back I get, the less I find. And the craziest part is, prior to 2032, I can't find anything at all. That shouldn't be possible. It's like Raymond didn't exist before then. I don't know. I'm going to keep digging, but it'll take me a while. I'll let you know when I get some news worth sharing. Well, clearly he had somebody invented an identity for him, I think. And the opportunity. Yo, come see me if you have a chance. I have a trade opportunity. Matrix Maximum Law, Matrix 1PO Integrated Hub. 01941-1-10UC14/Meet Laws Technology Palace. Done is what... the meet address. Matrix address. Meet address. Okay. Done is what happens when I rain the fire. Ultrathon Visigoth, Judge of Titan. Okay, no unread messages. Open the jobs category. Claim payment. You submit the job is finished and wait the response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. The Wampoans tell me they've ousted all of their council of elders, something to do with you exposing their efforts to cover up their own mess. It isn't the resolution I expected, but I think it's acceptable. If there's one thing I don't trust, it's people who won't pay what they owe. Thankfully, the Wampoans are more I'm doing the wrong voice for Kylie. If there's one thing I don't trust, it's people who won't pay what they owe. Thankfully, the Wampoans are more reliable than Inga and her allies, and so am I. Your payment is attached. Kindly Chang. Let's see. View all active jobs. Artifact liberation. Geomantic sabotage. Back to roots. We're going to look at Shadowland, because Shadowland is awesome. We don't have any pay data. We're unlikely to get much pay data because we are not a decker. Pay data is something that happens when your main character is a decker. Sometimes you can get some from side character being a decker, but it's not usually the case. Not as much, anyway. Here we go. Search BBS relevant. Please shoot out in Victoria Harbor. I know a lot of you are interested in that 50,000 yen, the new yen the HKPF is promising in connection with the terrorist cell they've been hunting. So I've been digging around for some better information. I think I've got some stuff of value. No, you don't. Trust me, you don't. Wharf rats. Turns out they had a handler here in Hong Kong by the name of Raymond Black. The HKPF tried to take him into custody the day before, but were forced to kill him in a shootout. Looks like Black and the terrorists are members of the White Star group out of Henan. Isn't White Star all about restoring Imperial China? One of those terrorists they killed was obviously North American. Why would she be helping a pro-imperialist group? That would be Carter. I was wondering how they could tell my character was North American just by looking at her. Or anybody really. It's kind of scattered. Ethnicity's kind of scattered in this setting. Okay. You got money? Maybe they heard her talking. You can buy any kind of person you need. You're on Shadowlands. Oh my. You should know that. So what do we know about Black and his band of thugs? Anything we can use to track them down? The data I've been able to dig up says that Black was from Henan, and he was distantly related to the royal family. He spent a couple of decades in Seattle making connections in the shadows in preparation for an attack on the Free Enterprise Zone. I've attached some dossiers on his remaining agents. That is silly. Roll thunder. You sift through a long stream of data detailing who you and Duncan are. While the general details about your name and life are correct, many of the small details are wildly inaccurate. You're listed as having lived in Laos for the past 4 years. That's not a small detail. While Duncan is noted as having spent most of his life in prison. Also, not a small detail. You move on to peruse Gobbett and Isabel's ostensible biographies. I guess small detail is a snarky commentary. The dossier lists Gobbett's real name as Yuchen Gui and her place of birth as Jian Shanji. According to the contents, she is 23 years old and served with the Baihu corporate military until conviction for insubordination led her to dishonorable discharge. While you can't be certain Gobbett doesn't speak Mandarin, the idea of her being in the military, any military, is downright laughable. Yes. Yeah. No, that's not a thing. Um, unless she's doing some sort of double blind thing. But yeah, no, that doesn't sound right. Isabel, in turn, is listed as Fatima Abukar. Apparently, Isabel was educated at an early age in terrorism and piracy by the revolutionaries of the Ethio-Malian territories and is wanted in connection with the bombing of 2052. Oh, I forgot about that. In connection with the bombing 2052 bomb attack. Shadowrun and your editing issues on the French embassy in Johannesburg. Given that you know that Isabel grew up here in Hong Kong, this information appears to be as laughably inaccurate as your own dossier. No more posting this thread. Here we go. Posy Bash. Alright, folks, we're trying it again, this time under a super secret code name. There's no telling how long this will last, so let the bashing begin. Matrix Bard. Super secret code name? You just ran the words Poetry Slam through a thesaurus. Poetry, people, not complaints. A thief on the run, a silencer in the dark, the rat shaman lurks. Got one for the coyote shamans, too. An unbound trickster, this shaman fears no peril. Wily coyote. On a roll, Jivey. Here's another one, if mad can stand it. Pulses of light glance off bright chrome, translucent spheres encase my treasure, mirrors and tubes and neon implode, another day in the matrix. Tennyson. Hey, I can do traditional. I happen to prefer the haiku because less typing. Gossamer tresses, infinity in your gaze, very pointy ears. Now you're mad. Extra points for using gossamer correctly in a sentence. I like L's. Jivebird is still the master of the haiku. In fact, oh graveyard creeper, ashen skin, spindly fingers and claws freak me out. Alright, Shakespeare's. This is strike 2. This thread is getting locked, and you aren't doing this again. Got me. This board is for deckers who want to talk shop. There are plenty of other forums that you can use for your stupid amateur poetry. I'd suggest that you go find one. Sysop. Wow, Sysop is a term I haven't heard used outside of Shadowrun in a long time. Here we go. It's still used in, if you're actually, your system operator, you still hear Sysop when you are actually working for a company in that position. But you used to hear Sysop all the time with the personal BBSs that were around on the internet before the World Wide Web. Because the internet is kind of was an interesting time of life. Anyway, all the BBSs were local, like they have set up here. You had worldwide connections, but they weren't as expansive, let's say, and didn't have as much in the way of forums. Top shelf sublet available immediately. Looks like the title says, good location, cheap rent, serious offers only, please. Harbor Rat. What do you mean top shelf? As in fancy core condo? How do you manage that? Shinzen Joe. Nah, man, it's literally the top shelf of the converted maintenance closet I live in. Okay. You're joking. No joke, it's cheap. And the location's good, right near Temple Street Night Market, and it has super fast access. Just in case you need to get in and out of the Matrix quick, and I'm not the sort to ask questions. There's just not enough space to stretch out your legs. There's just about enough space to stretch out your legs lying down, and there's a ceiling hook for your gear. What do you say? Harbor Rat. I don't know. I need a place, but still. A shelf in a shared closet? Screw that. I've got a sweet pad to rent that you can have all to yourself. It's not Victoria Peak or anything, but it's a bargain. Hot Pot 8888. Where is it at? Shinzen Joe. Kowloon Walled City. It's one of the new construction units on the outer edge. Harbor Rat. I'll throw in a second ceiling hook. Deal? Okay, message me, and we'll work out the nitty-gritty. Shinzen Joe. Seriously, the walled city isn't that bad. My apartment is huge, and it even has windows. I'll beat Harbor Rats in rent. In fact, just tell me what you want to pay. Hello? Nobody's going to go to the walled city nobody's going to go to the walled city on their own choice. Looking for a decker. Looking for experienced decker for a discreet milk run. That's a dangerous term. On a supply house of purveyors of recreational substances. Potential for longer term arrangement. We're on a team that's been together for years, running your basic heist and the occasional transport gig. We've got a reliable fixer and a long list of happy clients. You must have a good sense of humor. Requirement. Give me some new yen 888. Hey, are you willing to give a newbie a shot? I've been in and out of the Matrix since I was in school. I raised some creds doing odd jobs, so I've got a hot new cyber deck that I'm itching to try on a real run. Amazon. I don't know, man. We'd really like to find a long-term decker, and you kind of don't know shit. You just said so yourself. Sorry. Oh, come on. You said it was a milk run. How else would a Shadowrunner start if not with an easy gig? I'm being upfront with you. Doesn't that count for something? Amazon. Fine. I got a test for you. You hack this guy, Captain Scone, and change his password to erotic massage. I'm on it. Thanks. Done. Am I in or what? Say yes. Say yes. What the fuck? Amazon, may I introduce you to our rigger, Captain Scone? You'll make a fine addition to our team. Thank you. You won't regret this. You gotta stop getting people to hack me, Gimme, or you'll be looking for a new rigger next. Aw, you know you love me. No more posting this thread. I love so much Shadowland. Shadowland is a treasure. We're going to walk away. How much time we got left on the timer? 4 minutes. Let's see. Let's see how much the payment was. 1,400, and let's go talk to people, because again, this is a game where you want to keep up with your... Oh, I could go... Let's talk to people before I go in the bunk. You enter Wu's cabin to find him moving through some stretchy routine. His muscles ripple as he flows tranquilly from one post to the next. You look different, Killeen. Do I? I did get some cyberware added in earlier. Yeah, like, I flipped forward a few chapters instead of turning a page. I mean, you look like you, just not the you I knew. Sounds like song lyrics. I get it. You're you too, just a lot leaner. Wu looks down his torso and chuckles. Yeah, remember how Lockjaw used to make fun of my gut? He used to call me Dunkin' Donut. I guess I got tired of that whole running out of energy to walk upstairs thing. Plus, I need to slim down to get into the academy. Once I got off my ass and started exercising, you know, really exercising, and found out that I loved it. It's the focus, I guess. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to talk to anyone. All I have to do is concentrate on my form and count my reps. That's my problem with exercise, is I can't stand that. Jogging is decent, though. And no matter what happens after that, I've started my day by accomplishing something. So what about you? It gives you a once-over. How are you doing? This is the life I always wanted. Kind of pissed at Raymond for getting us this old. I'm a little freaked out. I don't know the city at all. I'm feeling the other. About how you'd expect. Been better. Well, I gotta tell you, you're good at running this crew, Killeen, but there's something I still don't completely understand. He picks up an ammo box and begins using it like a dumbbell. What do you get out being a Shadowrunner? Not a cog. Freedom, money, thrill, get to hurt people, see the world how it really is. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Carter said that an unexamined life isn't worth living. Well, whatever you get out of it, I doubt the trade-off's worth the shorter lifespan. And at the end of the day, what are you? A Shadowrunner, disposable asset, sinless, slithering through the cracks of society, doing jobs that are too dirty for the corps to do themselves. You don't even appear on a corporate balance sheet. Runners can be more than that. They can move their own agenda, fight the power. I've never heard a story where a shadow did something other than kill someone, steal something, or perpetrate some other sort of shady shit. But good luck with that. Wu watches you and waiting for you to say something. That's because the ones that try to do that either stay well under the radar or die. What did you think about that last run? I don't know, Killeen. I've had enough of ghouls for one lifetime. Barrens were full of them. Remember the 162s did to that Atzlanter family that lived by the old town center? Remember how we found them? Second-hand organs in a walk-in freezer. It's not the kind of thing you forget. Tooth marks in the bones and all that. His face goes white as a sheet. Yeah, made my stomach turn. Nobody deserves to go out like that. I don't know, Killeen. I don't think I'll ever get comfortable with having a ghoul on our crew. Made sense to keep those elders alive, by the way. Good call. We don't want anyone in this country. Seems wise to try and get some allies. Anyway, enough about that. Need anything else? You thinking about getting chromed up? With Cyber? He shakes his head. Oh my god, how many times are you going to ask me that? Oh, at least a dozen more times. You always have the best reactions. Wu grins. His teeth are blindingly light. I told you one time I was thinking about it when I was 13. Let it go. I'm not going to pollute my body with that shit. You? I'm saving up for something. No judgment here. Just don't put too much of that shit on your body. I've heard stories about folks who went too far with it, lost some of themselves. I want to talk about you and me. He rests his eyes on you a moment, his face neutral. We're going to finish this conversation. Yeah, and I guess now's as good a time as any. You start. You're not acting like the Duncan Wu that I grew up with. What made you decide to become a cop? Seems like Carter's death hit you pretty hard. Yeah, she was a good one. We were a real team. Joining Lone Star helped me in all sorts of important ways, no doubt about it. I really embraced being a cop. I studied my ass off. No matter how hard I worked, I was never more than a model cop with a brutal streak. There were plenty of assignments that were perfect for a big old mean orc like me, assignments that would have fed my need to hurt people. But I met Carter about a year in, and she changed things. She talked about values and goals and priorities and constructing the life that you want to live. She was a real trip. Sounds like a good woman. She was a cop, a partner, a mentor, and a serious badass when she needed to be. But yeah, she was a good person too, kept me focused. When Raymond asked me to meet him in Hong Kong, I had a feeling I was going to wind up going off reservation if I didn't bring Carter along. Now she's gone, and here I am. You only took a step off the reservation. You could choose to step back too. Not really. Might be time to stop looking for someone to hold your leash, Duncan. We can handle it like we used to. I'll be the brains and you be the muscle. I have a feeling, actually, Duncan has more brains than you. You have an intelligence of 2, which isn't terrible. It's average. I say that you honor her memory by showing her how much you've learned. Wu's mouth drops open and then curves into a grin. He shakes his head, still smiling. I'm sorry. Did Killeen Vickers just give me sage advice? Sounds like you did some growing up of your own. You're not acting like the Duncan Wu that I grew up with. What made you decide to become a cop? I needed structure. Bad. You know that better than anyone. I was already a hardcore when we met Mr. Ultraviolence. I'd do anything to get a rise out of the guys I was rolling with. Gouging eyes, inverting knees, curb stomping. That shit got me cheers. I was like a pit fighter, bloodletting for the crowd, and I learned to enjoy it. But I never learned how to block out the memories of their screams when I was lying in bed at night. The guilt started eating me alive. And then I was scared to be alone with my thoughts, so I tried to drown them out with all the things that you drown things out with. How bad was it? You never told me that before. You seemed to have it under control when we were together. It's funny how people remember things. Yeah, when we squatted together and later, when we were living with Ray, I was still a violent son of a bitch, but basically under control. But that was you, Noel. You were the voice of reason, the brains. I don't remember it that way. I'm sort of a punk myself. Like I said, it's funny how you remember things. It may have felt like a partnership to you, but believe me, when we ran the streets together, I was the muscle and you called the shots. You pointed and I hit. But later, after Ray got me some counseling, I realized that you called the shots so that I let you call the shots so that I wouldn't have to, because I knew that what I wanted was wrong. By following your lead, I was deflecting my own guilt onto you. It was always your decision, not mine. I could just knock heads and walk away clean. Don't look at me, I'm just doing what I'm told. Might as well have been tattooed on my chest. And then you left. Without you there, I knew I was in serious trouble, the poster boy for anger management issues. Raymond could provide a stable environment, a decent therapist, and money for prescriptions, but you know Raymond. He's an egghead engineer with a philanthropic streak, not a drill sergeant. And a drill sergeant's what I needed. I needed structure and discipline in a way that he couldn't offer me. I needed a cage to keep myself in line. So I found myself a cage made of rules and procedures and training. Lone Star. Yeah. Sorry. Did I just laugh at Lone Star? The idea of Lone Star as being disciplined and skilled? No, I wouldn't laugh at Lone Star, would I? It's not like they have some of the worst private police officer reputation in the entire setting. No. Raymond helped me with my application and provided a decent character reference. I got in, and it helped a lot. Lone Star got me where I needed to be. Now it's all gone, and you're back. You've been waiting a long time to ask me about the night I left, haven't you? Wu chuckles and hooks his thumbs in his belt. Guess I have, yeah. It's about what you were doing before you got thrown into that core facility. You said you had a friend who was in a bind, but that was all you could say. How'd it go? Cakewalk, really? Nothing to talk about. Let's just say we're not friends anymore and leave it at that. Whatever you say, Killeen. Do you ever think about when we were kids? Begins moving through some sort of pattern. Might be Tai Chi. I try not to. What are you talking about exactly? Excuse me. Lockjaw, Double Tray, those guys. Time before we moved in with Raymond and Mrs. Maloney. Oh, the dark times. We're not exactly talking about an idyllic youth here, Killeen. Sleeping in dumpsters, running from ghouls, fighting over scraps, Wu stops moving, drifts off for a moment, and defending your territory. If we hadn't found that spot in the abandoned building and found Lockjaw and Double Tray, we probably wouldn't be here. So weird to think about that now. I mean, you realize that we were teenagers, right? Younger than Gobbet. They felt so old back then, but Lockjaw could have been more than 17 tops, and Double Tray was only 13 when. Wu pauses again, lost in thought. I think Double Tray might have died. Why were you thinking about back then? Just thinking about that thing DT used to say. Improvise, adapt, overcome. That's how you beat the street, I remember. That's the Marine motto. Wu returns to his patterns. He manipulates an imaginary soap bubble between his hands. I remember Double Tray saying that. It was while we were living between the red-hot nukes and the 162s. Crazy-ass dwarf anarchist on one side and flesh-eating ghouls on the other. Those are the days that you long for? Long for? No. I was just thinking that it's the same now as it was back then. His raspy baritone fills the space between you, bridges it. Survive and watch each other's backs. Yeah, I know. Let's talk later. Yeah, later would be good. Don't get me wrong, catching up is nice, but I'm not used to being as social as this. That's one of the reasons why it was nice to work under Carter. We both appreciated long silences. Sorry, man. She seems like good people. It's all good. She's gone, and I've accepted. It's not all good. Accepted that. I guess it's just been a big day, is all. Anyway, good talk. I'll catch up with you later. Okay, we know Gobbet's just going to tell us I wasn't. I mean, Gobbet, not Gobbet. The guy in the basement's just going to tell us I wasn't there. Isabel is jacked into the octopus. Her body sits inert, breathing shallow. As you approach, an image blossoms on the largest of octopus's view screens. Hello there, down there. It's good to see you again. She smiles down on you from the monitor, her outline scintillating with blue-white light. She looks peaceful, at ease. I do love the fact that all your avatars in this game are representations of your real self rather than something made up. Except for that one guy in, I think it was the very first game, Returns. I guess it's a little bit different. It has, yeah, it's a bit different. It looks more like Elf. Nice avatar. That's a good look on you. Isn't it? I've spent months customizing this avatar. She feels more real to me than my own skin. You really feel at home in the Matrix, don't you? You look happy there. I suppose that I am. It's a comfort thing. As long as I'm jacked in, I can be wherever I want, whoever I want to be, whatever I want to be. And it's not like there's a Decker-killing AI running around in this game. Out there in meat space, I usually feel uncomfortable in my own skin. The avatar offers you a lopsided smile. I'd probably just live in here if I could. I've heard about Deckers who've tried it. Have never turned out well. Dehydration's a bad way to go. I know, and of course I was joking. But truth be told, I do spend most of my time out there, wishing I was back in here. If you were a Decker, you'd feel the same. It's hard to live in a cage of meat when you know how sweet it feels to leave your body behind. She pauses for a moment, considering, then her avatar shimmers forward, filling the screen, a slight frown crosses her face. You know, Noelle, I've been thinking about the question you asked me a little while back, the one about the walled city. The one that I dodged, the avatar fidgets. It didn't feel like a dodge to me. Besides, the whole game of questions thing was your idea in the first place. It was a dodge, though. I didn't mean for it to be, but that's what happened. I cheated you out of an answer I owed you. For what it's worth, I wasn't trying to do that. It's just talking about the walled city is problematic for me. I understand. I grew up in the Barrens. I know how hard it can be to talk about this stuff. No, it isn't that. I'm not explaining myself correctly. It isn't that I'm tortured by bad memories or anything like that. The problem is I can't remember my childhood. The walled city, that entire chapter of my life, is nothing but a blur to me. I can give you general information about life on the inside, but the specifics of my own experience are gone. What do you mean gone? Do you have amnesia or something? Something like that. Avatar fidgets on the screen. There were a variety of factors in play. The upshot of all this is that there are things that I can tell you about, but only a few, and only in bold strokes. Don't expect any personal stories. I couldn't share them even if I wanted to. So, I'm doing the wrong voice again. So, if that's okay with you, if you'll be satisfied with trivia and urban legends, then we can talk. Just say the word. Otherwise, well, at least you know why. How did you lose your childhood memories? I'd rather not go into it. It's personal. Suffice to say that I've never missed them, at least not until now. If you ever want to talk about it, I'm a good listener. Great. I'll keep that in mind. Give me what you can. Let's give your thoughts about the last run. Nope, sorry. Jacking into the octopus is how I relax after a long day of work. Some people go to sports bars or strip clubs. I do this. As a rule, I don't spoil my leisure time with shop talk. But we're all red. If that's how you feel. It is, so if you wouldn't mind changing the subject, she lets the sentence hang. Give me what you can about the walled city then. At this point, anything would be helpful. Alright, I can do that. The avatar licks its lips and nods. Isabel's avatar turns, begins to pace on the screen where she steps. Spiderwebs of light spread across the tiled. I've been running this for a long time. Hello, everybody. I had a little bit of crash when I started to realize that I had been leaving the the fraps running a little bit too long. Now I'm going to catch up to where I just was, and I'll see you in a little